Hello everyone and welcome to this video tutorial on the Connexus homepage on how to properly submit a portfolio. And this has been a also highly requested video because I've seen several people being unsure, and of course there are a lot of portfolios that might need to be submitted whether you are in any grade, but mostly high schoolers, and if you're especially taking AP classes with a lot of portfolios. Before we get started, do keep in mind that it is important to keep checking on your webmails and message boards. And there is a change this year, and the message boards are held within the webmails. So it is now more important than ever that you continue to read these. Otherwise, you're going to miss out on different announcements that say whether a portfolio has been dropped, if the instructions have been changed at all, or if there is a specific guideline that you need to follow. So let's jump into that right now. Okay, so here we are in the webmail, and as you can see in the corner we have a folder, and this was manually made. So before we get into showing you where all the message boards are, let me show you how to properly create a folder. Now, in order to create a folder, you need to go down to the left side of the menu of the webmail screen, which is right here where my cursor is, and click on Create New. And right here there should be a little pop-up that says Create New Folder, so you're going to want to click on that. Now here you have a pop-up screen that asks you to create a new folder name, so here we can just call it Message Boards. And then you can choose where you want this folder to be, so you can either have it in the top level right here in your inbox, drafts, sent messages, and all of the other different things. And when that's done, you can hit create. And your message boards will be right here. Now keep in mind these are alphabetically listed, so that's one thing you need to keep in mind whenever you do make these and you are searching for them. So now let's try and get a webmail into that folder. So we have one webmail here, and as you can see we have these buttons up here. You're going to want to click Move To, and as you can see it opens up all the different links and folders that we have. So you're going to want to find message boards and click that and wait for it to load properly. As you can see, it has disappeared from the inbox on the main webmail, but if we click on the message boards folder, it shows up right here. So do keep in mind that sometimes you do have your message boards listed in the webmails in Google Documents, so it's very important that you keep an eye out for where they are listed so that you can properly be able to complete all the things you need to. On a regular basis, they would normally be in this blue push pin, and for some grades it might still be. However, as far as I'm concerned, I'm not entirely sure which grade levels are doing that or which groups of teachers are either. So as you can see here, we have the Math 6A and the Math 6B message boards listed here, and the rest of them are listed in the webmails in that folder that I have just showed you. But moving on with the main topic that we are going to complete today, which is how to submit a portfolio. Now, if you click here on this little course tree, you can see all the different assessments that you have, and there's a difference between this green arrow right here. That means the lesson is skipped, and if there is a green arrow rather than a check mark next to your lesson, or nothing at all, if there's a green arrow here, that means you don't have to complete anything and the lesson is skipped and nothing needs to be submitted. However, if there is no green arrow and it's just empty, that means you have to do the work. And as I mentioned before, keep an eye out for your webmail because oftentimes they do change the instructions or even tell you ahead of time if a portfolio has or hasn't been dropped yet. But in the meantime, we are going to go to all the way to the end of the lesson, and a majority of the time, the portfolio submission is always going to be at the end of the lesson, particularly on slide 5, but almost always at the end of the lesson, depending how many pages it has. So here it has 5, and as you can see, it has assessment up here, and it will take us to where we're going to submit it. So as you can see, we have this thing called the drop box. And this is where it particularly gets a little bit confusing. With regular assessments, you usually have a start button and it's full of multiple choice questions, but the drop box operates a little bit differently. So what you're going to want to do is click on the Submit the Intellectual Property Portfolio Assessment, which is right here. You're going to click on this blue link. It's going to open up a pop-up menu. In this pop-up menu, you are able to give a list of chosen files if you have more than one file that needs to be submitted, and if you don't, then you need to just submit one depending on what your instructions have told you. So what you're going to want to do is click on Choose File, and when you do that, it's going to open up your documents, and then we're going to locate the file, and you should have saved it to... And when you have saved your document, it should have the name of the course, the lesson, and the unit number, and the name of the assessment. So it's easier for the teacher to understand which assessment they are grading. So as you can see, we have this here. So as you can see here, we have properly been able to attach the said document into here, and we are seeming to be good to go. If you want to, you can also submit a PDF version of this, and you can just follow the same thing and attach the PDF. Personally, it's always good to send the original format and the PDF version because a lot of computers and phones are able to access the PDF version and sometimes not the original. So just to be sure that your teacher is able to get your work, then you can do that. So once that is finally completed, what you're going to do is click on the Finish button. And it's going to bring up another pop-up menu that asks if you are submitting one file or how many files that you are going to, and it's just going to give you a last warning. Are you sure you want to submit this assessment? And if no, then just click no, and if not, then click yes. In addition, if you attached the wrong file, you can just click on the same one again, click on Choose File, and attach a different file that you want to attach onto there, and it should work just the same. It should override the current file that was originally selected with the new one that you have just chosen. So when that is done, all you must do is click on Finish, Yes, and it should be loading. It usually takes a little bit of time to upload, so don't worry about it if it takes a while, but once it has, it should tell you this assessment has been uploaded, and that's about it. Once that is done, you can click on the green check mark and you can continue with your lessons. If you have any other video ideas, leave them in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye!